Trading one ticker, one system, S&P 500 futures. Every day for a whole year, I'm going to track the progress, journal, and try to improve my execution as well. So today is day 40th of me trading it. Actually started the day pretty bad and ended the day down about 2,500 on across all the accounts. The main account we were down $212.23. So started the day with a bit of headache and was down from an overnight trade that kind of left us down $100. So I was able to make that money back. And then as I made that money back, I started going long in the market. And I didn't expect us to kind of drop as much today, but we did end up dropping here, bounced a little bit, and then we dropped again. So I thought at this point we were somewhat building a upward momentum. So I thought it was gonna go up like that, but unfortunately that didn't. We dropped through here, and then we just kind of sliced through it. I had a stop loss around I think this range here, and I didn't think we were gonna break it, so I assumed we were just gonna worst case scenario. I assumed we were gonna bounce this range here, and we did bounce, but my stop loss wasn't enough to cover the difference. So the stop loss was at 6,700, and this level was at 6,702, and then we hit 6699.5. So that was just enough to break my stop loss before we had a huge bounce over here to 6712. So kind of messed me up a little bit, and that's how I ended up with the losing day. But if I can go back in time, here's what I would do differently. Take a look at the 1 minute chart. Let's move over to this indicator here. So 9 a.m. market structure have flipped bullish. So that means, we want to kind of like buy the dip from 9 a.m. when we see big dips. So we did see a massive dip here and another massive dip here. This one worked out where I bought a few times and was able to exit, buy again, exit, buy again. Uh, MES and ES wasn't trading as perfectly today as NASDAQ and YM. I'll show you that a little bit as well. And then at 12, we had our first buy signal. So that was around here. And then we did end up pushing up a little bit. And then, or we could also essentially short that as well because we're technically in bearish market structure. So we could also short the resistance. And then 1210, that was also another buy signal. That was pretty much similar with the first one. And then at 140, we had uh, our second major buy signal that was over here. So this one was pretty effective. That was somewhat signaled the bottom of the market. We had a huge bounce here. And then we came back down again, same area, and huge bounce from there. But for today, I was looking at YM and I was just going through the charts. YM looks pretty good. It did have a major drop, but we did end up finding support around the MOB range here. And we just kind of held it pretty well. Pretty good bounce there. MQ, this is NQ as well. And you has some good bounces at the 1 minute MOB here. So here, bounce and rejection there pretty well, and that worked pretty good. But we're pretty much bearish overall on NQ overnight. So there's a lot of disconnect in the market, as you can see, how they're very, very different. So YM is a little bit stronger than those other two. But as far as key levels for tomorrow, here's what we're looking for. I think tomorrow I'm just gonna focus on these key levels because they're somewhat working out pretty good for me, and I just gotta trust the process on this. So key level for tomorrow is 6720. We ideally need to get a break over 6720 again to flip bullish. This one is different. This is a flip bullish and flip bearish kind of play here. So that means if we drop under 6690, I'm just gonna flip bearish and start shorting, right? If we dropped it and we back test this, I'll start shorting. If we break over and we back test, I will start going long like this. That's how I'll make the plays. The play will be made on the second position here, the second back test, not the first breakthrough. So hope that was helpful. And hope you guys have way better wake trading than me. There are some major catalysts that I release on our weekly newsletter. So I think we can see government shutdowns and other potential for black swan events as well. But we'll see if things go bearish first before we go assuming that we'll get a black swan event. So thank you for watching. Please thumbs up if you enjoy this. Thank you.